Hi guys, having my coffee. Kelly. Sorry for all the ugliness. I did not feel like fixing my hair and putting makeup on today. Actually, I still got some makeup on under my eyes from yesterday. Ugh. Alright. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Excuse me. Excuse me. Stomach kinda upset today. Alright, we're going to begin where we left off yesterday. And we'll be beginning with Mark chapter 6, verse 30 through 56. And we'll be reading in the New International Version again today. First, we're going to talk about Jesus feeds the 5,000. How is that possible, you may ask? Well, listen, and you shall see. The apostles, which when they're saying apostles, they're meaning Jesus' 12 disciples. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. By this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. "This is a remote place," they said, "and it's already very late. Send the people away so that they can go to surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered, "You give them something to eat." They said to him, "That would take more than a year's half wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked. "Go and see." When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fishes. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the people. He also divided the 2 fishes among them all. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish that was left over. The number of men who had eaten was 5,000, and that was not counting women and children. Now we're going to see Jesus walks on water. Read about that. Immediately, Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went on the mountainside to pray. Later that night, the boat was in the middle of the lake, and he was alone on land. He saw the disciples straining at the oars, because the wind was against them. Shortly before dawn, he went out to them, walking on the lake. He was about to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost. They cried out because they all saw him and were terrified. Immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take courage. "It is I. Don't be afraid." Then he climbed into the boat with them, and the wind died down. They were completely amazed, for they had not understood about the loaves. Their hearts were hardened. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they had heard that he was. And whenever he went into villages, towns, or countrysides, they placed the sick in the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. And that's where we'll stop with Mark for today. Sorry if I got a couple of my words mixed up. I tend to do that sometimes. Apologize for that. I don't know why my crazy mind does that. It's so aggravating. Okay, guys, now we're going to read our psalm for today, which we're going to be reading Psalm 40, verses 1 through verse 10. And it is for the director of music of David, a psalm. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, who does not look to the proud, to those who turn aside to false gods. Many, Lord, my God, are the wonders you have done, the things you planned for us. None can compare with you. Were I to speak and tell of your deeds, they would be too many to declare. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but my ears you have opened. Burnt offerings and sin offerings you did not require. Then I said, here I am. I have come. It is written about me in the scroll. I desire to do your will, my God. Your law is within my heart. I proclaim your saving acts in the great assembly. I do not seal my lips, Lord, as you know. I do not hide your righteousness in my heart. I speak of your faithfulness and your saving help. I do not conceal your love and your faithfulness from the great assembly. And that was our psalm for today. I told you David's psalms were beautiful. I love the Psalms. I think Psalms is one of the most beautiful. It has some of these beautiful passages in the Bible. And the Song of Solomon. So good, guys. So good. When we get to that part again, it'll be in the Old Testament. But I will read it again for you guys when we get to it. It'll be a little while before it comes to that, but I'll have to read it to you guys again because it is just so beautiful. It's better if you have a man and a woman both reading it together, but I can't get Sherm to read it with me, so I have to read it myself. So it's not as good as what it is if you got two people reading it, but it's still so beautiful. I just love it. And if you want to hear it read by two people, Brian Harden, who I listen to, he's the one that does the daily audio Bible readings. Him and his wife will read it together. It's, you'll never hear nothing like it. It's just I fell in love with it the first time I heard it, and that's why I had to read it to you guys. But of course, it wasn't the same with just me reading it. But I'll tell you guys when that day is, when they're doing it, and tell you to go to the Daily Audio Bible if you guys want to hear it that way. Because I think Kelly, you'd really enjoy that. It is really, really beautiful. Okay, lastly for today, we're going to read our Proverbs, which is Proverbs chapter 10, verses 11 and 12. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers all wrongs. There's no greater act than love. We know that. That's what Jesus wanted to teach us. There's no greater act than love. And God our Father and Jesus our brother love us more than anybody ever possibly could. And we are to love them the same way. And my heart is just overflowing with love for them. I love them so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Bible reading. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless.